Yo, what's going on, guys? So, the video that you're about to watch is from, I would say, October or November last year when I was in Dubai. I shot that back then. Didn't really get time to edit it properly because I was focused on the brands, but I am planning on taking YouTube seriously and dropping a lot more content. So, before we get into that video, I want to do the profit and loss check per usual, and this is going to be something that I'm going to do on every video. That way you can see for yourself that I'm someone who's actually making money with what I am preaching on here. I'm not asking for anything from you. I don't want anything from you, by the way. I just want you to absorb as much knowledge as you can, enjoy these videos, and yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna show you our profit and loss for one of our brands today. So I'm currently in LA right now and it's 10 a.m., about 10 a.m., 9:03. We have generated 20K in revenue and 6K net profit. Probably gonna end the day at around 12, 13 net profit, okay? This was yesterday. Let's wait for it to load. So 47K in revenue, 10K net profit. This is under reporting, should be around 12K. And then the day before, Monday, see where that, and that was 47. Mondays are usually slow, about 47 in revenue, 68, around 7K in net profit, okay? So in total, over the past 3 days on this brand, we did about 23K in net profit, okay? And 114 in revenue. So enjoy the video. Just wanted to drop this on here real quick because why would you listen to me if I'm not making money with actually making money, not profit, not revenue with what I'm teaching you? So enjoy the video and I hope you find a lot of value in it. Thank you. All right, so in this video, I'm going to be going over understanding consumer psychology and applying it to product research. This is a very, very important topic that a lot of people usually glance over when they're doing product research. They just jump into product research hoping to find a product that's already been proven without thinking deeper into what makes that product work. Is it worth testing? Is it worth making it work? What's going to happen after you make it work? Because all of these questions start to come up once you find a product that's working. The last thing you want to do is find a product, build a product page, get creatives for it, actually make it work, start scaling it to then find out it's not really quite a brandable product. And the whole point behind what we're doing here is to build something sustainable that you can one day exit and make a lot of money from. That way you have built equity rather than just scaled another winning product, made a little bit of cash and moved on with your life. So before we find that product, we need to understand what type of product we're looking for. And typically, here are the things that I evaluate and look for when searching for the right product that I want to test and potentially brand. I'm always looking for products that evoke emotions, right? Because of the nature of the platforms that we're advertising on, people are buying based on emotions. It's impulse buying. Because if they wanted to buy a product, they would just go to Amazon or go to Google and search for that product and convert wherever price seems the best, the offer makes the most sense, and whichever had the best reviews. This is not the game that we're playing. We're playing a game of people chilling on Facebook, on Meta platforms, and scrolling, and they get presented with this product that is an ad that is targeted to their need, to a potential that solves a potential issue that they've been having, that they've been thinking about, or they might have not known they could benefit from. And here is your product with your ad evoking emotion, evoking interest into your client, into your customer, and hence getting that conversion. So that is why products that evoke emotions are very, very important. And the niches that typically fall in that realm are the following. As you can see on my screen, women's health and beauty, skincare, fitness. I'm going to go over each one of these separately, but I'm going to just run through them real quick. Fashion, both male and female, elderly health, health in general, really. And those are my top three. Kids education is another one, and pets. I'll start with kids education and pets because those fall into the same category. This is from a second perspective. So I'm going to start from top to bottom. I'm going to go through women's health. I'm going to start from top to bottom. Women's health and beauty, and why women's women specifically. Women tend to be very, very good online shoppers. They love to shop. It's women's way to relieve stress. It's in their nature to spend money because typically the man is outside providing. So the women are the ones with the more time on their hands. They tend to be sitting at home. Since the man is providing, they're using his credit card. So there's less of a barrier here when it comes to actually make version. And this is by no means sexist or being said in any weird way. I have no vendetta behind this. It's just consumerism, and if it's just the statistics. And you can go online and search for all this and you'll understand, right? Again, what we're doing here is we're trying to understand the psychology behind who is buying online, why are they buying, what are they buying, and how we can use that to our advantage in order to make this process as possible. Okay, so going back to women's health. Now that we've addressed why women in general just love to shop online, they are a way better audience than men. Men think logically. Men tend to value money a lot more because they work for it. Typically, again, a lot of women don't work. They're stay-at-home moms, so on and so forth. And, the ones that typically do that are the ones that are online shopping and don't tend to have as much friction when buying online. Now, why health and beauty? So let's look at women's actual and just human being psychology, right? What is women's main focus in the world is to have a family, right? And it's how do they do that? They attract, and that is by attracting the proper male, the proper mate for that. Cool. So that puts health and beauty at the forefront of the things that they care about, that they need to maintain, because a woman's value in this world that she is born with is her beauty. Men are not born with that value. Men need to build that value, and I will get to that in a bit. And that is why fashion is something that men tend to love. Also, another thing that falls into this category, another niche here is, for example, men making money, right? That is a niche that does so well because men are providers and they want to make money. That's why self-improvement is huge when it comes to the male demographic. Okay, but I didn't add it here because it doesn't really apply as much. Now, when it comes to health and beauty, this is the main thing that women will use in order to attract males, right? And that because males ultimately care about health and beauty because they typically evaluate that from the standpoint of fertility and the best chances for the best offsprings. So these are things that men usually look for, and that is why women are very health and beauty conscious. Now, us as marketers, we are going to tap into this primal instinct and we're going to sell these products that serve this cause. And that is why anything that's skincare related, fitness, anything that has to do with health and beauty, and add another step, which is women, is absolutely the best niche to go into. These are the niches that have always presented me with the most scale, the most profitability, branding possibility, LTV, continuity, all of that. So that is my favorite niche, or one of my favorite niches, and I highly recommend sticking within it. Same thing goes for fashion, and this applies for both male and female. Males love to look good. Why? Because their job, they are programmed to attract the opposite sex. And that's why they typically want to dress nice, they want to look good. Cologne falls into this category, same with perfume for women. And if you've probably seen this product, the pheromone perfume they have made in cologne, this product has probably generated well over 9-10 figures easily over the course of the past 3-4 years combined, because it taps into so many primal instincts and insecurities, and it's by far one of the best products I've seen. I've never ran it myself. I felt like it was a bit gimmicky in the beginning when it first came out. I didn't really understand this, and after really tapping into what makes products work, I was able to recognize that it was a great product. And I'm not saying that's something that I wouldn't run in the future. I highly recommend it if you can find a good angle, because it has been rinsed like crazy. But going back to what I was mentioning here, fashion fashion is a great one. People can come back and buy more. That's why fashion is such a top leading niche when it comes to TikTok Shop, Amazon, any products, any brands are typically all leading brands typically fall into the fashion niche, and that is because people will continuously buy products that fall into the fashion category because they always need new clothes. If they like a certain brand, they'll always go back to it. So within itself, a good product within this niche will give you the opportunity of LTV and continuity, which hence is what a brand really is, right? So that is another thing I highly recommend. And this goes to shoes, pants, anything really, anything fashion related. Jewelry also falls into this. It's really considered a subcategory of fashion. Now there is, for example, fashion with a beauty twist to it, right? Like those butt lifting sweatpants for women, and that also goes into fitness and healthcare a little bit, right? So a lot of these products, or the shapewear, that's another great example that is never gonna go anywhere. And if you look at, for example, some of the top leading brands, Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, these influencers can really sell anything. They have the trust and they have the following for it. People idolize them. They have the cult following. Anything they put out there is going to sell. But they specifically tap into these niches because they know consumer psychology. Obviously, they have very big teams behind them, and it's probably teams that are telling them this. Or it could be them understanding consumer psychology and consumer behavior to the T, and therefore introducing these brands that tap directly into that. And they're billionaire, right? So there it is. That's literally, the proof is in the pudding. Now, another thing that is very important here, and a niche that I love to target, and that is elderly health in general. We are selfish human beings. Human beings are selfish by nature, and typically what they want is something that will, and typically what they want is something that will benefit their health and the health of their loved ones. So anytime, I don't know, think back to any time you were on social media, you're on some platform and you're scrolling, and you didn't even have a problem, but you saw something that you thought would benefit your health, even though you don't really have that issue and you don't really have any symptoms that they're talking about, but you start wondering, what if this happens to me? Should I start taking this because of preventative measures? I mean, it's my health at the end of the day. That's the only thing I have. And health is priceless. The thing was with health, when it comes to us and our loved ones, there's no price on it, right? That's why healthcare in general, insurance, is so expensive, and they capitalize on a specific thing, on a specific subconscious psychology, and that is people will do anything for their health and the health of their significant others or direct relatives. So great niche. I would stay away from supplements. I don't really like supplements that much because they are super saturated, and they are a bit hard to shoot creatives for because it's something you ingest, and how are you going to really show this product working? I tend to focus on topicals, devices, so on and so forth, right? Those are the things I like to usually focus on and target when it comes to health in general. But there's nothing wrong with testing supplements. I've never done it. I've always stayed away from it. Doesn't mean that you won't find success with it. Again, health is just something that any human being will automatically justify in their head. Whether they have the problem, whether they don't, they see the issue, especially with long-winded VSLs. When they're presented with that problem, people will look at it and be like, okay, damn, I didn't know this existed. This is an issue. Is this something I need to worry about? Let me look into this. Let me go down the rabbit hole and find what could be potentially causing this. Oh, what? Like, I felt this way. So on and so forth. And if you're doing a good job with marketing, you will get that conversion. Okay? So once you're capitalizing on this insecurity, this instinct, then you will make a lot of money. Okay, this is second degree instinct, right? And by second degree, it's really offspring, or people consider their pets pretty much their kids, and they treat them like that. So they kind of fall into the same category. But they're no longer selfish for themselves. People aren't really selfish for themselves when it comes to these products, but they are selfish for their offspring. That's why it's somewhat of a second degree. A bit less powerful, but still very powerful, because people really care for their kids. They want to provide their kids with the best education. They want them to be the best human beings ever. They want them to be equipped with with the best thing. That's why any baby niche typically with a unique, uncommon angle, something that falls into this category, so kids, pets, with a unique, uncommon angle, a product that has not been really rinsed before. For example, if you were to go sell regular diapers, right? Diapers are very easily attainable. They can go to the closest gas station, grocery store, and buy that, right? So you're gonna have trouble marketing and selling this product. But say this diaper is custom made, it's reusable, then it's something that's gonna catch attention and people will buy it because they think of it as an investment to someone they dearly care about and somewhat they're selfish about to a second degree. So that's why I put the emphasis on unique and uncommon. This is very, very important when it comes to these products. Now, kids education doesn't require any uniqueness or uncommonality. In this case, kids education will always work because people invest in their kids, they send them to college, they send them to private school, they'll pay. There's no price on kids education. This is something that's very, very dear to parents' hearts, and you can capitalize on this niche heavily, which I have in the past, and I recommend you do so. So hopefully I gave you a good understanding of what consumer behavior and psychology you're looking for and you want to aim for when doing product research. So you're not aimlessly just researching for products that could win, because it's going to be very difficult to make products work, for one, and really attain longevity with these products. When you keep this in mind, you'll be able to achieve both very easily and make a lot of money. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.